So once you log in, you can see we're at the Naviance slash High School and Beyond Plan homepage. Just a quick note here under Read More, there's some information about Naviance Student, which is this program that we are using, what it's all about, what it can do, how we utilize it at Bothell. And then you go down here to if you're a college-bound scholarship program student and we're identified for that in seventh or eighth grade, there's some information for you that you'll want to look at just to kind of remind you or refresh your memory on some of the things you need to be doing during high school to maintain your eligibility for the program. And then once you become a senior and you have to apply to the FAFSA to pursue financial aid for college from federal financial aid for college, you can click on this link here and it will take you to the FAFSA site and you can start your application as a senior. If you're an undocumented student, you can do the same thing through going to the WASFA site. And then for registering for senior year classes, you can always go here to see the dual credit offerings that we offer as a school district and at Bothell High School, as well as our career technical ed programs. And then down here, just some other information about how we utilize Naviance at Bothell and within our school district. So then we go back up here to home. And then the next thing you want to do is to locate the list of tasks that you need to complete to meet the High School and Beyond Plan graduation requirement. And so for that, you would go up here to My Planner. And some of you may remember doing this when we've met during class visits. But if you can't remember, you go up here to My Planner, you click on that, you go down here to Tasks, and then you'll see your list of tasks that you need to work on. By the time you're a junior, the task is hopefully significantly shorter, and most of them, several of them have been completed. If they haven't, that's okay. You have time still, but you'll want to start working on those tasks to kind of get yourself caught up. The main two tasks that we're going to work on as a junior are complete Supermatch college search and add colleges to my list. The junior year portion of this is really geared towards the college research process and kind of getting you guys to understand where to go to research colleges, how to narrow down your college list, and just what do you do to know where to apply and when to apply and all that stuff that's starting to come to the forefront for you, but you're a little bit in the dark as to what to do next. This should be your one-stop shop. Naviance, your High School and Beyond Plan, should be the one place you go to get everything you need for your college research. Not applying, not actually applying, but research and determining where to apply and what's a good fit for you. And so I'm going to click right here on Complete Supermatch College Search. This is an awesome tool. Then we're going to go over here to the right. To complete this task, you need to search for colleges. And then I'm going to enter the task, enter the activity. And this is a pretty cool program here. I have already entered some criteria. I'm going to exit all of these out and start from scratch. And so what you'll see here, Supermatch College Search, choose fit criteria. So we're looking to find a fit for you. You're looking to find a fit and to develop a list of colleges that meet the needs for you. And when I say develop a list, what I recommend is developing your list in the following way. You want to have a couple of colleges, 2 to 3, that are reaches for you academically and in terms of your GPA and your test scores. A couple of colleges that are, they're not a reach, but they're not a sure bet. They're kind of in the middle. And then a couple of colleges that, if I don't get into my reach school, if I don't get into my, my kind of middle ground school, I'm going to be able to get in here, whether that's a community college or maybe, an easier to get admitted to four-year college. You want to have that range of schools on your list. You don't want to have 5 or 6 or 7 reach schools and no sure bets, because then you're kind of wondering what you're going to do wondering what happens if you don't get into those schools. So think about that when you're creating your list and when you're setting up your criteria here. This will help you develop that list. So we'll go up here. We'll just go up and list some criteria here and just show an example. Let's go, let's just stay on the West Coast. I like the West Coast. We're going to stay on the West. Um, I'm not going to say campus surroundings. I don't mind any of these options, so I'm not going to do any more there. We'll go up here. We'll go hit this over button, or you can go up here to academics. It's going to take me over to the academics portion. I'm looking for a bachelor's degree. Let's say I'm going to a four-year college after high school. If you're going two-year, that's where you would select the associate's degree. If you're going to like a Cascadia or a Edmonds Community College, one of those two-year schools, that some of which have four-year programs, but they're mostly two-year programs. But we're looking for the four-year program right now. You can type in a major if you have a particular major that you're looking for. This is where you would type that in. I don't know if I would type in a minor here. What that's going to do is just narrow things down for you. I wouldn't worry about the master's or doctorate unless you want to be at the same school for your master's or doctorate. But it's just going to add a different layer to your results that you don't really need to worry about just yet. So for now, four-year college, bachelor's. We'll go over to admissions. It will likely already have your GPA in here. If it's in Synergy, it should be listed here. If it's not, you can add it. If you know your SAT scores, you can add those. If you know your ACT score, you can add that. You can determine what you want admit rate wise. If you're not looking for a school that takes everybody, then you can choose one of these, 25% or lower, which means they only accept 25% or lower of their applicants. So if they have 100 applicants, they're only going to accept 25% or lower. That's kind of what that means. I typically leave that blank and determine more when I see the results list that I get. Over here for diversity, if you have any diversity, things that you're looking for, if you want to apply to a historically black institution, it will pull those up. Hispanic serving institution, tribal colleges, LGBTQ plus inclusive schools. You can click on that and it's going to pull those up for you. I'm just going to leave this blank here for now. I think what I'm going to do is just leave the rest blank, and I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to scroll down and just see what it has pulled up for me. And so as you can see, it's got UW Seattle, it has Western Washington, University of Portland. Most of these are 100% matches. If I go to the Y, for why is Western only 83% match? It probably has something to do with the test scores or GPA, but we'll see why. Academic match. This institution is a safety for me. So it's already identifying it as a safety based on the low, average, and high scores for the ACT, the low, average, and high scores of the average GPA of the students that they accept compared to me. So because my test scores are on the high end and my GPA is on the higher end, it's a safety for me. So it helps you identify what these schools are, whether it's a reach, a safety, or a sure bet, or kind of in the middle for you. So that's great. I already have two schools that are pinned. I can go down here to unpin them. Okay, I just unpinned them, so now they've disappeared, and you won't see those. So if I want to pin a school and compare two schools, let's say I want to compare UC Santa Cruz with Portland. I'm going to click Pin to Compare, and that's got it right there. And I'm going to click UC Santa Cruz, Pin to Compare. And then you'll go down here to Pinned, and you can compare pinned colleges. And now what you'll see is side-by-side comparison of those two schools, location, campus surrounding, region, obviously is the West. And then you can kind of see a little bit about what amount of majors they have. If you click on that, it can show you those majors for four-year majors. Average high school GPA of students who are admitted, average high school ACT score, SAT score. These are national averages. They're not Bothell High School admit rate averages, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. And it just has some really good information there to compare and contrast the schools that you've penned. So we're going to go back, and I'm actually going to go into Portland. I'm going to click on Portland, and I'm going to go to a Naviance-based page with information about the University of Portland. And so what you see here is there's some videos here. There's an overview. We've got some images that we can look at just to kind of get a little bit of a feel for the campus. It's got some other statistical information if you scroll down here. Your GPA. Sometimes if we have enough information in Naviance about you, it will kind of indicate where you're at here on the spectrum of their GPA, SAT, and ACT test scores, whether it's green or yellow, red, orange, whatever that. I guess that's an orange. And you scroll down here a little bit more. It's going to have even more information about where you stand compared to the average national admit rate for that school. If I go back up here, one of the things that I really love to show students is over here under the admissions tab. And this is an important thing to remember. You go over here to admissions, and then you can scroll down, and you can actually see it has application deadline, application fee, national acceptance rate. One of the things that I'll say about these two items here, the application deadline and the fee, is never trust third-party deadlines, information from third parties like Naviance or any place else. The only time you're going to trust a deadline that you see or an application fee for your records and your planning is the actual school's website. Okay, and you can go there by just clicking on up.edu, and it'll take you to their website. It'll open up a tab up here when you click on that. This may be right, and in many cases it will be right, but I just don't trust it. Okay, you just want to make sure you're getting that information from the actual school. But if I scroll down a little bit further, you see some interesting information here. Applications from your high school to University of Portland. So, Bothell High School in the class of 2019 had 5 students apply to the University of Portland. 4 of the 5 were accepted. In 2018, we had a little bigger senior class. We had 15 apply, 12 were accepted, 1 actually was enrolled. 2 from 2019 actually matriculated to Portland. 2017, we had 23 apply. We had 19 students accepted. And so you can determine your admit rate. 4 divided by 5 gives you the admit rate. 12 divided by 15 gives you the admit rate. 19 divided by 23 gives you the Bothell High School admit rate. And to go even further on this, you scroll down and you see a scattergram. And the scattergrams are awesome. You can toggle this between SAT, 1600 scale, or ACT. I typically start with SAT, and you can see on the left side here you've got the GPA axis. Students who got in are the green check marks. Students who were denied are the red X. You can see what their GPA and their test scores were. Down the bottom it's got the SAT score axis. You can kind of see the average. So the average over the past few years to Portland is 1183, 374. If you're above or below that, that helps you determine if this is a reach for you or a sure bet or kind of in the middle. Extremely helpful. This is historical data. This is data that you're not going to find anywhere else. And this data is extremely helpful for you to know, because this is what the colleges really look at. They look at the historical data from your high school, how students from Bothell do when they come to Portland is very important in their decision making. And so if you can kind of see, wow, we've got a pretty high admit rate, they must like our students. And so it gives you an idea of whether or not you got a shot at this school, or a good chance or less of a chance to get in based on these statistics. And so it's just another added bonus. Just going by these national rates, which is what you see on most websites, most magazines, most books about college admissions and statistics, that's what you're going to see. You don't see this, and this is what separates this program from other programs and makes it so helpful. And so I really highly recommend coming in here. If you want to do another way to look at this is if you go up here to colleges and you go to home, you can go to scattergrams and just click on that little arrow there, and now you can look at any of the schools that Bothell High School students have applied to over the last 10 years or so, and then look at the scattergrams for those schools and determine where you lie on their scattergram, and then add it to your list accordingly. So I'm going to go back to Colleges Home and go back to Supermatch, and again, you can just see a lot of different things here. If you like a particular school, you can favorite that school. Once you've favorited it, I'll go back to my planner, tasks. I have now added colleges to my list. And I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but the two major tasks that we need to complete as juniors are complete Supermatch college search and add colleges to my list. So if I click on that, I go add it, click here, you already see University of Portland. Okay, so now I've already got that on my list because I favorited it when I was in Supermatch. So when you're in Supermatch and you come up with your list of schools and you find one you're interested in, just click the heart and it adds it to your list and satisfies that requirement. And then it just makes it easier for you to find Portland. You go right in here, boom, you're there. It's a common application school, so it helps you understand what application you need to use to apply there, and you can go from there. I'll go back to my planner and tasks, and then we've reduced the number over here. We got 2 more done, and we've satisfied what we need to be working on as juniors. If you have any of the tasks like complete Do What You Are 2.0 or complete career interest profiler or edit course plan or add careers to my list or complete strengths explorer, if any of those are still on the left side here, the tasks you need to work on, those are ones you missed from 9th and 10th grade and you should complete. Okay, so now would be a good time when you're in there to complete those tasks and get yourself caught up so that you only have a few things remaining to do as a senior, and then you'll be able to finish this entire plan up during your senior year. If you have any questions on any of these programs or tasks, please don't be afraid to contact me. My name is BJ Dawson. I'm the Career and College Readiness Counselor at Bothell High School, and you can reach me via email. You can see me in the counseling office. My email address is bdawson@nsd.org, and I look forward to seeing you progress through this and helping you in any way I can. Good luck.